Slade.
Slade.
Slade. Slade.
Slade.
Silence!
Fine. I'm sorry, Deadpool. Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to an all-new Talkin Movies. As always, I'm your host, the real Gino Reynolds, and today we're going to be talking about Deathstroke, Knights and Dragons. Originally, I guess this was an animated shorts series on CW Seed. I don't know if it's still all there, or even if CW Seed is really still a thing. I looked it up, and there was maybe half of this movie on there, or maybe a third of this movie on there. I don't know if the rest is on there, if you have to pay for it. Anyway, and I guess they did this for Constantine as well. There was a series on there for Constantine where they take all the episodes and they make one big movie out of it. So now we have the movie of Deathstroke, Knights and Dragons, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. The movie starts off 10 years in the past. Deathstroke's wife does not know what he does. He's a quote-unquote businessman. And he goes on his missions. Well, when he goes on a mission, his son is kidnapped while he's out. And when he gets back, he finds his wife's beaten up, which, by the way, she can take care of herself because she was in the military as well. But then again, she doesn't know what he's done after he got we'll just call it the super soldier serum. I mean, come on, let's be honest here. But she finds out who he is. The bad guy basically tells her who he is. But he goes and tries to save his son. And while he does save him, his son gets permanently damaged and cannot speak. This causes his wife to leave him, take the son, and he's out of his son's life for 10 years. 10 years pass, and Deathstroke finds out that his son has been kidnapped again. And he is going to go after him. This time he's not alone. His wife is trailing him, and that's where the story basically begins. I want to talk about what I liked first, because I do have some things that I really didn't like about this animated cartoon. Now, don't get me wrong. I do still recommend it, but I don't recommend it at full price. Right now on Vudu, you can get it early for like $15, $20. I can't remember exactly how much it costs, but you can get it for full price, but I wouldn't pay it. Wait for it to come out, which is like a week or two, and then you can rent it, because it is a perfectly solid DC animated rental. Or if the CW Seed is still a thing, if the whole thing's on there and you've got it, watch it on there. Because the less you pay for this, the better. What I like about this is I thought the story was solid. More on that in a minute, though. I did think the story was solid, but I did have issues with it. I really did like Michael Chiklis as Deathstroke. Now, granted, I love Ron Perlman. I love his performance as Slade in the original Teen Titans. And it would be cool to hear Ron Perlman do Deathstroke again. But Michael Chiklis is still really good, too. I mean, you can't discount that guy. He's great. So he does a really good job. The majority of the rest of the voice cast do a good job too. I like the characters they got involved. I can't talk about all of them because that'll kind of spoil some things. Again, more on that in a minute. I thought the action was really good in this. This movie is definitely really violent. As you saw in that little opening clip. I mean, that's near the first of the movie and you got Deathstroke covered in blood already. So there's lots of violence in this movie. Back to Michael Chiklis' Deathstroke. Deathstroke in this, he reminded me a lot of Deadshot from the Suicide Squad movie, where it's like, yeah, he's a bad guy, but he has a moral code and he only kills certain people, and he tries to do the right thing even though he's murdering people. So they try to turn Deathstroke into an anti-hero of sorts in this. And granted, I don't claim to know everything there is to know about Deathstroke. So, I mean, if this is normally him, let me know in the comments. But from what I remember of any time I've ever seen Deathstroke, like, again, I never really followed him in comics, but if he showed up in another comic or cartoon or something, he always seemed to be straight up bad guy. So, I don't know. I was fine with that motivation for him, but I don't know if that's really Deathstroke or not. So, but I was fine with it. So they give him kind of this anti-hero feel, in a way. And again, that's the main motivation of the movie. Also, the motivation is sins of the father. Should children have to punish for the sins of their parents? That is like the overarching story, and this is should Deathstroke's family have to suffer. We also delve in a little bit in Deathstroke's past, and of course, his past will come back to bite him. So all in all, I did really enjoy this movie. That being said, what I really didn't like about it was really how predictable it was. Now, I again don't claim to know everything there is to know about Deathstroke, but even if you don't, like if you do know Deathstroke, you're going to see probably everything coming. I didn't know a ton. I knew enough, and I saw everything coming. I can imagine someone that didn't really know anything is going to see the majority of the plot twist and the story turns and everything else. They're gonna see where it's all going. It's like, oh, this is happening. Gee, I wonder if that's gonna bite him. This is happening. Gee, I wonder if this person's gonna show up. It's a lot of that. That being said, I don't think the predictability really ruined the movie, because again, I like Chiklis as Deathstroke, and I thought the story was still good, though predictable. But I do think with it being predictable, it does take some away from it. I would have loved some decent twists in this. And again, I still recommend it. I wouldn't pay full price for it. Again, if it's on CWC and you have it, if it's all there, watch it there. If you can wait to rent it for cheap, rent it for cheap. Don't buy it, because the less you pay for this, the better you're going to feel about it. All in all, though, I think the majority of people that are going to enjoy this are probably hardcore Deathstroke fans. But I still think just fans of DC Comics will enjoy it as well. But again, I just don't think it's a strong enough movie, even though, again, I knew it was released in pieces. I don't think it was a strong enough movie to warrant the full price. But again, if you can rent it for cheap, it's definitely worth checking out. That's going to be all for this edition of Talkin Movies. If you like what you've heard here, please subscribe to the Real Gino YouTube channel, like this video, and if you have anything to say about Deathstroke Knights and Dragons, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Till next time, I am your host, the Real Gino, Gino Reynolds. See you later.